All right, we are now on episode 6. In this episode, we are going to be talking about ListView. So, ListView is used when you have a query set or object list that you want to display on a page. In our example, we are going to show a list of articles, which we have here. We have 5 articles on our blog homepage. So the first part of ListView is pretty simple. We want to get a query set of objects and put that query set into our context. It's similar to detail views in the way that you're getting something and then putting it in the context. In detail view, we get one object and put it in the context. And in list view, we're going to get a group of objects and put them into the context. So let's take a look at how that is happening. First, let's take a look at the code that I have right now. As you can see, there's just 3 lines of code, as is a common theme in the default ways of using class-based views from Django, the generic views. And from there, when we're going to kind of explore some things that are different that we can customize, and then we'll grow a little bit. So here we're just getting our model article, which is article.objects.all by default. If not, we can set a query set here. We can do query set and article.objects.filter active equals true. We can do something like that as well, but in this case, we're just going to do all, the default, and then we're setting the template name, and then it just works magically. It puts all this out here with this article list, context. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at Django. We're going to look at source code and see what is going on. In this list view, we have a multiple object template response mixin, nice long name mixin, and the base list view. So first thing we're going to look at is a multiple object template response mixin, and this is where it gets the template name. Same thing as detail view, doesn't do much. All that this whole thing here is doing is that it's defaulting the template. So if I don't want to do the template name, it's going to look for a template named article list. But I am going to specify the template name, so I'm not doing much with this. Okay, now on to the base list view. The base list view, we're just looking at the get request, so there's only get. If we do a post, it's not going to do anything. So we have a get, it's going to receive the get, it's going to get the object list. It has get allow empty, which you can specify it to return a 404 if you'd like. If you do, I think it's allow empty equals true. So this is returning this get allow empty. If we just take a look at this, it's really simple. Here's just returning self allow empty, which is defaulted to true. So if we, where are we? So if we can, if we want to return a 404 when there are no articles, we can do false, and then it won't allow any empty, and it will give us a 404. That doesn't, you don't really use that too much. It's not really too important. Don't worry about it. This is where it goes through and checks the allow empty, and it will send back a 404 if it is actually empty. Okay, then in the context is where most of the stuff gets done. At this point, we have our query set that we set up in the context, and so we'll have the query set objects there in the context to use in the template. Almost. Once we set it in here, get context data. Get context data, where are we at? Here it is. So here's where we're going to put the query set into a context variable called object list. and then we're getting the pagination. So pagination is kind of a little bit complicated part of ListView. Let me show you the most basic way of doing it first, and then we'll look at how it happens. So if I go here and let's go back through all of this. If I do paginate by 3, I'm going to take every 3 articles and make a page for that set of articles. So here you see I have 3 articles, and I can go next, and I can go previous, and actually let's do 2, and then I'm only going to show 2 articles, so then I can go next, and then here I have next and previous, right? What we want to do here, so I did that just by adding this paginate by. If I don't have paginate by, it's just not going to paginate. So just by adding that paginate, I get some paginate functionality. Now that is on the view side of things. On the template side of things, you have to make some more changes. Where are we? Here. Everything inside of this if paginated is new code that like is paginated was triggered when I put paginate it paginate by, and then it knows to run this code. If I don't have pagination, it won't run this code because of this is paginated context that I'm going to show how it gets inserted here in a second. And then here through this page object, it knows if it has a previous, and through this page object, it knows if there's a next. So it's only going to show those buttons if it has those properties. Let's hold off on range here for a second, and let's look at what just happened there. So if you use the default way of pagination, it's pretty smooth. The template is the hardest part, knowing these context names and how to use them. So here we have is paginated, which is caused by this paginate query set method, and we can go ahead and look at that real quick. Let's see. Okay, so here we're going to pass in a query set and a page size. Page size comes from where we specified that, and the query set comes from the query set. And here we're going to use this get paginator, which uses if we look on here and get paginator, it's going to use this page self paginator class, which is defaulted to paginator from Django core paginator. So if you want to learn about how the pagination happens on a more finer level, you can go ahead and look into that. I'm just going to pull it up real quick and just kind of show you, like, it has like page and get page, get count, blah blah blah, all this stuff that we're going to be using. And you also see like has next, has previous. That's what we're using. That's what we're using here. Like page object has next, has previous. So I just want to show you where that comes from. But you guys can look at this paginator if you like. It is in django.core.paginator. And so here we're going to go through that paginator, and we're going to put in all these new context values. Paginator page is paginated, and that allows us to use these things such as page object has previous, has next, next page number. It's going to allow us to use all of that. Now, if we want to show the page, so if we want more than just a previous and next, we do a little bit of customization. Why isn't that work? Oh, I need to add. So I need to add in a range context, which is going to be a Python range for the number of pages. If you'd like to look at that, you can look at Python docs as well. But what that allows us to do is that allows us to loop through. It allows us to iterate through that list, and it allows us. So we're going to go and get all the pages according to the paginator, and we're going to make a page link for each one of those. So let's take a look at what that looks like. I've got on 3. I'd like it to be on 2. Okay. So now with 2 objects on each page, we have 3 pages. We can still next and previous work, but we can also click on the page. Okay, so that, I believe, let's see what else there is. Yeah, that's pretty much what ListView is and does. The next episode, we're going to talk more about mixins and how mixins work. So you'll see like these different mixins that I've just been saying, don't worry about it, we'll talk about it later. We're going to talk about how to use mixins, custom mixes, and how it can expand generic class-based Django views. If you have any questions on this episode, please feel free to leave a comment. And if you are viewing on YouTube, you look in the description to view this article on my website, as well as view all of the articles in this series.